So now for overall impressions of the Democratic debate last night. Again, I think it was a really good debate. The candidates, were able to talk about a lot of issues. On a lot of issues, they agreed. Some issues they sparred over. It was very substantial. Bernie, of course, was strong on, domestic policy. Hillary was strong on foreign policy as well. But they both had their weak moments within their own strong points. Hillary talking about Bernie, his education plan. He didn't have a retort for when she said that it would force, Republican governors to contribute some billions to have, tuition-free public colleges and universities. He didn't really respond to that specific point. So I think that was a weak moment for him. For her on foreign policy, he hit her pretty hard when, at the last debate, she referenced Henry Kissinger, as somebody, she kind of looked up to, or, that mentored her or something like that. And he said,
in her book and in this last debate, she talked about getting the approval or the support or the mentoring of Henry Kissinger. Now, I find it rather amazing because I happen to believe that Henry Kissinger was one of the most destructive secretaries of state in the modern history of this country. I am proud to say that Henry Kissinger is not my friend. I will not take advice from Henry Kissinger. And in fact, Kissinger's actions in Cambodia, when the United States bombed that country, overthrew Prince Sihanouk, created the instability for Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge to come in, who then butchered some 3 million innocent people, one of the worst genocides in the history of the world. So count me in as somebody who will not be listening to Henry Kissinger.
Secretary Clinton. Well, I know journalists have asked who you do listen to on foreign policy, and we have yet to know who that is.
Well, it ain't Henry Kissinger, that's
fine.
for sure.
That's fine.
So like I said, they both had their positive moments. They both had some weak moments. On criminal justice reform, they were pretty good. What do you think?
Well, I think that Hillary knew she had to come into this debate and kind of redeem herself.
Right.
Simply because of she lost by such a wide margin.
Yeah, 22 points in New Hampshire.
In New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's
so big. I think, she had to come in and kind of prove her case. And I think that she's somewhat coming down off of her pedestal a little bit.
Right.
Now, it did not respect the comment she made about when I'm in the White House.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of like already kind of
assuming that she's gonna be it.
She's gonna be it.
It's silly to think that it could be Sanders.
Yeah.
That's what it came off like.
Of course, when the question about terrorism came up, of course she did her thing. That's pretty much what she's good at. There's not really much I can say about that other than to me it's still kind of a repetition of kind of the same old foreign policy.
Yeah.
But again, that's the kind of foreign policy that her brand of politics has been kind of practicing.
Yeah. And some of it is very similar to Republican ideas. The Syria no-fly zone.
Her brand. That's the kind of that's the kind of brand of politics. We've been practicing.
Right.
Now, as far as like the criminal justice angle goes, I did like both of their areas of focus. About mandatory minimums, dealing with education. And the economy
and the
prison system in affected areas. So I did like how they addressed those issues.
I did not like her specifically talking about her being against private prisons, especially when it was only October when she stopped taking donations from the private prison. So, but that's behind the scenes that didn't show up at the debate. You would have to know.
You have to know that.
You know, that information to make it look bad, you know, for the viewing public.
It's hard. See, the thing is, it's like I didn't take any, I didn't take any winners or losers out of this debate.
Right.
So there's not one candidate that kind of separated themselves like in a very significant way. Honestly, I think that they were both considerably the same.
Right.
With actually the exception of, I think maybe Bernie did surprised me in some answers, and he seemed a little bit more prepared to deal with some
on
of the
foreign policy.
Yeah, especially deal with some of things Hillary put out there.
Right.
Those are things that Hillary put out there, like with the immigration question.
Yeah.
I think what happened was she thought that because she brought it up in previous debates and he didn't say anything,
that was going to be the same thing
I'm just hitting him with it. I'm just hitting. Nope. He came with a good response. Same thing with the Henry Kissinger.
Right.
I think she didn't know that Bernie was going to have an historical perspective.
Right.
And I think that's actually more important in dealing with foreign policy to me, and rather than having...
Yeah, because it's important that you don't repeat your mistakes.
Yeah, and then what's funny is like how do we determine who kind of won that back and forth? And after Sanders, gave his rebuttal, Hillary Clinton tried to clean it up.
Yeah, she
by
did.
saying, he was good for many different things.
Yeah.
By the China, opening up China, and then he responded like, no, don't even try that. And he responded. I was like, that's how you do it. I thought he was much quicker.
Yeah. Well, just to give that a little context, so Hillary responded to Bernie talking, pretty badly about Henry Kissinger, and she said, well, we don't have to agree with everything everybody does, and he was significant in opening up, trade negotiations with China, so he did that. And then Bernie, his retort was, he actually did, but that led to outsourcing of American jobs to China. So it wasn't all that good.
Yeah, I know, and this is supposed to be the worst communist regime. I think again, I think Bernie did a better job at kind of like countering some of the things that Hillary said, and also countering some of the attacks.